Hi everybody, this is Wally at Darkroom Software. I hope everybody is doing well, staying safe, and practicing social distancing. We at Darkroom are still doing the same thing, just like everybody else. And today I'm coming to you from our alternate top secret command post back at my house. So today we're going to talk about a unique feature that Darkroom Core has that allows you to do what I call a virtual party. Now, with a virtual party, you can set up an input so that someone can text a photo to Darkroom using Twilio, using a Twilio number. And then Darkroom Core would receive that image from that person. You could add a border, a template, something like that, graphics, whatever you want to add, and then have it sent right back to them so that they get the new photo with the template or border on it. Then you can also have those images posted to an event gallery for everybody to look at. So what I'm going to do is show you how to set that all up. There are other things you can do with it as well. You can print those images and so on. But for today, we're going to save them to the computer with the new border. We're going to show how to text them back to the person who sent it, and then also show you how to add that to an event gallery. So let's get started.
So here we are in Darkroom Pro. This also works for Darkroom Core or Assembly version if you have either one of those. It works with both of those, and this is in the latest version of Darkroom Core Pro or Assembly. So this is Darkroom Pro, just what I had installed on my computer. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So first of all, under Photographer Info and then Email and Social Media, you want to set up your Twilio account, the Dropbox account, because at this time Core Pro and Assembly require Dropbox like Booth used to. We took that out of Booth, and we're going to take that out of Pro, Core, and Assembly coming real soon. But for right now, you do need to have a Dropbox set up. And then you also, if you're going to use Event Gallery, you would set up your Event Gallery. So once you get those three things all set up and tested, then let's go over to Capture Options right up here at the top, Capture Options, and then come down to Hot Folder and Social Input. Now, let me explain a little bit about what the hot folder and social input is. It's a way to automate a process within Darkroom Core where something can come into the software and then have an action performed on it. It can be several different actions. And so that's kind of what we're going to do. So if you look over in the top right corner, you see the Add button. So when I click on that, it asks me basically what kind of input. Do I want the input to be email, Dropbox? Currently, Facebook's not working and Instagram's not working. That's a long story, but that's something we've tried and failed to get those approval. But anyway, we're going to use the Twilio input, which is for text messaging. You also have an option for a hot folder. So what you can do with all of those inputs is to, first of all, that's how the image would get into Darkroom. So in the case of Twilio, someone will text an image to a phone number that we're going to give you a little bit later. And when that image comes into Darkroom, then we're going to set up what happens with it. You could also do that with a folder. For example, you could have different folders on the computer where an image dropped into a certain folder would automatically get an 8x10 printed or a 5x7, whatever. So we're going to talk about Twilio. So this one right up here, I've already set this one up, but I'm going to just step you through the process. So you'd click Add and choose Twilio. So then it's going to come up like this, and you would double click on it, and you'll bring you to this input. Now, all of the defaults should already be entered in there. So the provider's Twilio, that's why it's grayed out. You can't change that. Now, a tag would be if you were going to have a keyword in the text. For example, you could have a different template or border added to the photo based on a keyword in the text. So let's say that you sent a text message with the word baseball. Then you could have a baseball themed template, and that would get applied and sent back to the person. But if they sent the word football, then you'd have a football in that case. So you can use different keywords and things like that. You could use this to run multiple parties at one time. So if you had several virtual parties going on, then each person would have a different keyword like Smith, Jones, whatever you wanted to give them, and they would just text their photo to this number with the keyword Smith, and then it would add their border and send it back to them. So that's how that would work. you just use a tag or a keyword. You want to leave the from blank because it's going to be coming from Darkroom, or from this Twilio number, and then it's going to text it back to this Twilio number. So everything I've talked about just now, you want to leave it the default. That's the default settings, and that's what would come up. So down here toward the bottom, you'll see that we have this box where we can list out what's going to happen. And we've got add, copy, properties, remove, and remove all. We're going to start off with add. So when you click add, you come up with this right here. Now in this particular thing, you can see lots of different options. If you're using a printer, you can set up a print item, whatever you wanted to do. But in this case, we're going to choose digital delivery products. So these are the things that you can do with a digital delivery. Digital media would be just saving it to a computer. Photo email, of course, is sending it to an email address. Dropbox post, you're just putting it in a Dropbox. Facebook post, as I've already mentioned, Facebook's denying that right now, so that doesn't work. Text message is what we're going to be using, and then also event gallery. So we would set up a text message. So you'd start by clicking on the text message. When you click OK, then it would add it to this list. Now I'm going to go back and remove the one I just added because I've already got one set up. So here's our text message. So we're going to start with this text message. Here we go. So this is our text message. So if I double click on that, all of the defaults are fine. You want to set the file size. In this case, I've got full size because it's coming from a phone. We're going to send it right back to a phone. We're going to use the same file size that they're sending. And then here's where you would add whatever border you created. Now you'd create this in the Darkroom template editor. It can be whatever you want. I've already set one up right here, and it's called Darkroom Virtual Party, and it has a little border around it. Now I'm going to go in just a minute and show you a little bit more about that and some unique properties in this particular border. So there's where I would set up my border. Now I don't want to put a watermark or anything on it, so we'll leave that all blank. So there we have it. That's already set up. Now that I've got my digital media item, that's how it's going to save the file to a folder. So I've got a folder specified on my desktop called Virtual Party. I've also got it set to full size, and I've added that same template. Apply that. Now I want to post this to a gallery. The purpose here is that I want people to not only get the photo back that's got the new border on it, but I want them to get a link to go to the gallery so they can see everybody else's photos. This is, again, a party, so you want to do this with people that know each other, and they'll be able to see other people's photos. So if I double click on this, here we go. So here is where I've set up the event gallery. Now I've given it a name, Darkroom Virtual Party. I've set the size to full again, and I've also set it to add the border. Now if you didn't set any of these to add the border, it would just save the file sent or send the file sent, just like it was whatever photo came. So let's click cancel on that. So we've got this all set up. So again, what's going to happen is Darkroom is going to receive the image from Twilio. It's going to add a border and text it back. It's going to save it to a file here, and then it's going to post that onto an event gallery. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. Now then, over on the right hand side, you'll see this little button right here, Disable Monitoring, Enable Monitoring. You'd want to enable that, so Darkroom is then now monitoring that. If you turn it off, it stops. All right, well, I'm going to go over here and show you how I did that border. There's one particular thing that I want you to see. So if I go to Products and Services, Templates, Borders, in this case, Demo, now here's the border. I'm going to double click on it, and it's going to open in my editor. Now, this is just like any other border that would be created in Booth or in Darkroom Core. It is a 4x5 in size, has a black background. I've added our logo in here and some text and everything at the bottom, and then a single photo node. But there's one particular thing I want you to see for this particular application. If you come down here in the photo node, the default is to fill, okay? Scaling of inserted images. The default is to fill. But in this case, I've set it to fit. The reason I've done that is because we don't know if the photo coming is going to be a vertical or a horizontal or a square. It could be any one of the three depending on who the person was that took the photo and sent the photo out. So if I set it to fill and it would say a horizontal photo with a square image node on my border, then it's going to crop off some of the photo. But if I set it to fit, then Darkroom is going to scale the photo down to fit either vertically or horizontally inside this square box. Okay, so that way it just scales it down and fits it in there really nicely. Now then, I'm going to click OK and move out of that, and then I want to show you one other thing that I did along with this. I should have showed you this one ago. Let me get back out of there and go back to my capture options, folder and social input right here. Along with the text message that I'm sending here, I've clicked here where it says message, and I've inserted the text, click here to see the party, and then a link to the event gallery party. So whenever someone gets that photo on their phone sent back to them, it'll have a link there in the text that they can click on to take them to the event gallery. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to back out of this, and I'm going to switch over to the event gallery real quickly. Okay, so here is the event gallery. Now this is on a Windows PC. I'll show you a little bit what it'll look like on a cell phone. But this is the event gallery. This is just a few photos that the employees here at Darkroom and Imaging Spectrum sent for the purpose of this particular test. But you can see vertical photos, horizontal photos, they all fit nicely within there to whatever the shape was. Darkroom just alters the size of the photo and shrinks it down to fit within that square. So if it were a square photo, it would fill the frame. Vertical, horizontal, doesn't matter. Darkroom's going to fit it in there. Okay, so here we are. This is on my cell phone, so now you can see, as I scroll through here, you can see where I sent a photo, and then I received it back with the border on it, and then also a link right there to go to the event gallery. Now if I click on that link, it's going to open and take me right to the event gallery so that I can see everybody else's photos. And from there, you can choose one, pull it up full screen, and you can save it Facebook, and you can do whatever you want to from there. So that shows you how that works with the event gallery app. Okay, everybody, I hope that made sense to you, and a couple of things that you could do with this. I know a lot of people are doing Zoom parties. My daughter and son-in-law have hosted several with friends where they would go and play online games and do a Zoom party where they're social distancing. They're not together physically, but they are on Zoom and watching and talking and playing the game, and they've done a couple and had a lot of fun with it. You could do that along with Darkroom Core and set this up for a virtual party and let those people text a photo and then share it to a gallery. The really cool thing is you can do multiples at the same time. Now the computer doesn't have to be anywhere in particular. It doesn't have to be at the party. All it has to do is be connected to the internet. So it could be at your house, it could be at your office, wherever, and just running, and people can send those images in and add them to the party. And so it's a great thing to try to keep your name in front of people and keep people together. You can do this with families, virtual family reunions, or whatever you wanted to do. Just to kind of make this interesting, I will put the phone number for Darkroom's virtual party that we're using. So you can try it out for yourself. Text a photo to that number. You'll get a response with the photo, and then you'll also get to go look at the event gallery and see all the other photos. Now, please keep the photos, workplace safe, okay? Thank you very much, and hope everybody learned something and has a great day.